Welcome once again to Civil Engineering Today. I'm Anna Christina Fregoso.
And I'm Reed Brockman.
And today we have a very, very special guest. It is the Chief Civil Engineer for the City of Boston. Welcome, Bill Egan.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And it's a call-in show. We're going to be talking about a lot of various things going on in Boston right now and things that are proposed to go on in Boston soon. It is a call-in show, so if you'd like, you can call in, and the number is 617-708-3290.
So, of course, the name of the show is Civil Engineering Today, and this is in the city of Boston, and Bill's a very obvious guest that we should have had ages ago.
Yeah, we think we should be
you
a regular.
every week.
Yeah, no.
A month. We're not even on every
Well, we'll see how I do today. If I make the cut, then sure, I'll be happy to come back.
All right, well, I guess we want to talk mostly about the projects that have been started in 2015. If you can tell us a little bit about that, because this is really exciting news, and I think people should know what you're working on.
I think we heard about your how you want to connect the historic sites of Boston. How did that all come about?
Well, it was initiated by the National Park Service. They approached the city about doing a project, and they wanted to call it Connect Historic Boston, where we would connect specific historic sites to each other via alternative methods of transportation, whether it's the MBTA, walking, or bicycles. And through that effort in the planning study, we came up with 4 separate projects to connect those facilities, and the city applied for a TIGA grant with the Federal Highway Administration, and they got a $15.5 million grant, and it was a TIGA grant, which is an accelerated type of project, and the city matched that with a $7.5 million funding for a total of $23 million. So the grant was awarded to us in 2013, and the stipulation was we had approximately 9 months to complete a design, and then after that advertise it for construction. So
it's a lot of work fast.
It was a lot of work fast.
That is a lot of work fast. I mean, we've had shows on planning before. We know it can take 30 plus years to go from, conception to you can use it.
Yes, and that was one of the very exciting things that we liked about it, is normally you go through a planning and a design process. It may take 8 years and then another 4 years to build it for 12 years. But what we're hoping for this project is not only to have it designed and built within that time, do it in a much shorter time, as in 5 years, to have everything up and running.
And I know you said you began, some of the projects have already started in 2015, and I'm amazed because roughly what time in 2015? I mean, I'm remembering the traffic from last winter, but to be honest with you, I haven't seen that much of a traffic impact, so I'm surprised.
Well, the first phase of it, which is one of the 4 projects and the largest of the project, is the bike trail. And the Connect Historic Boston Bike Trail, they started work on it this spring. I think it was in the end of April. We gave the contractor a notice to proceed. And most of the work is centered on Stanford Street, up right off of Cambridge Street by Government Center, close to the JFK building. And they've been out there working. And this summer they're going to be working along Causeway Street in front of the Boston Garden, or the TD Garden. And they will also be working along the waterfront in the north end, as the bike trail will connect and continue on down there. And there's 2 phases to the project. This is the first phase that they're undergoing as part of this project, and it runs, as I said, through the north end in front of North Station on Causeway Street and TD Garden, and then up into Cambridge Street and Government Center. It's about 1.5 miles long, and the construction cost for this is about $15.5 million.
So the red path down the middle is the proposed bike lane?
Yes.
That's the bike lane? That's
exactly.
amazing.
And this was the part of the project. This is Causeway Street here, and you'll see this when we, if you're out there in the future, they'll be constructing this summer. And when the project is finished, there'll be a bike lane down the center, and they'll have new widened sidewalks along Causeway Street, trees and new lighting, and it will take on a completely different look. The sidewalks will be much wider, and it'll be a lot more pedestrian friendly when the project is complete. And in addition to be connecting people to historic places, the other benefit is commuters leaving North Station in the morning, whether they arrive in the Orange Line or commuter rail, they can pick up a hubway at this location, and they can ride can ride the bikes instead of transferring over to the Green Line or Orange Line, whatever, and continue on the journey. So it's another way to kind of get some exercise and make it easier to have the bike trail there.
So it sounds like Causeway Street's going through really radical changes. I mean, there's lots of construction going on, not just on the street, but they're also building brand new buildings right there. What's
Sure.
going on over there?
Well, in front of TD Garden is the new project called the Hub, and it's right now in phase one. It's a mixed use, approximately $500 million, and it's residential plus a business component. And there'll also be a new supermarket and a movie cinema when it's complete. And then just adjacent to that, parcel 1B, which is right by Portal Park, across the street from that, and Portal Park is where the underground section of the artery pops up and goes over the Zachem. There's 250 units of affordable housing that's under construction. They just broke ground on that. So yes, there's a lot of transformation going on there at North Station.
That is good to hear that there's going to be affordable housing. I heard, you hear about that a lot.
Yes.
There's not enough in the city, so.
Yes, and it's a big priority of the mayor.
And bike-wise, I saw them put that last year or the year before when they put that, the pathway that went underneath the North Washington Street Bridge too.
Correct.
So that bikeway is just it's gonna come back to the street and continue down, or?
Yes, the section on the North Washington Street Bridge is, and actually it will hook up to this bike trail here, where you'll be able to, where Sturity Rink is in the north end, you'll be able to divert off of Commercial Street and then go along the waterfront under North Washington Street Bridge, and then you pop by where the Converse building is,
Okay.
and you go around back onto Causeway.
So when roughly do you think this will be ready?
Well, most of them, a major portion of the construction should be completed by the end of 2017, but we do expect, to go into 2018, some mop-up requirements there, So essentially, it's, 4 years from the time we started design to, substantial completion, but it'll probably spill over into 2018, so.
I think it's great. I mean, you got the Greenway looking like,
It's
a
beautiful.
beautiful park.
Yeah.
And Causeway
Sure.
Street, since they took down the elevated line, it's plain.
Sure.
And that's a tourist central. I mean, that's where all the teams are
Sure,
playing right there.
right. And right now, it's a big open space, and the sidewalks on both sides of the street are very narrow, and they're in very poor condition. They're unwalkable, and they're not ADA compliant. And now the sidewalks are going to increase in width by about 4 feet. There's going to be approximately 12-foot wide sidewalks. And, hopefully, we're working with the developers, the owners of TD Garden, who are developing the Hub property to make, a tabled sidewalk at Friend Street, so it's a lot more inviting in the main entranceway into TD Garden, because there's going to be now a new entrance into that section that's right at the center of where TD Garden is,
Okay.
and that's a main entranceway that they call Champion Row, which also on Friend Street, it's right across from where Friend Street is, and that street's being reconstructed as well.
Where will all the Bruins park now that there's no parking lot for them?
Well, as you mentioned that, the new development going in is going to have 6 floors of underground parking, so.
Oh, wow, okay, good.
Yeah,
That's
they'll
good
be-
to hear. I kind of like this direction that Boston is moving, and it seems like they're really focused on being a pedestrian-friendly city.
Yes, absolutely, and part of the Complete Streets initiative from a few years ago, when we produced the Complete Streets Manual and guidelines, we've done a lot of design to make it more of a pedestrian-friendly, pedestrian-safe, bicycle-friendly, and improve and enhance what the existing infrastructure was for those facilities are.
Now, tell us a little bit more about the Blackstone block.
Well, BLACKSTONE block is another part of this Connect Historic Boston. And this is a little bit different in that it's more of BLACKSTONE block as the oldest street network in the country. And it's been around since 1600s or so.
Oh,
And-
that was a river, right? It was a river originally, that got buried?
Well, originally the harbor came right up to where Blackstone Block is, and if you go down there now, it's right beside Faneuil Hall. It's where the Holocaust Memorial is. If you go in behind there, that's it. And it's the streets are all kind of windy and narrow because that's the
That's how it
cow
was.
path.
Yeah,
Yes.
the cow
So-
path, yeah.
And there's some buildings in there that date back to the 1700s, and B. Franklin built one of those. And I'm not sure if it's Benjamin or his brother Bob or whoever, but you know, we're still looking into that. But you know, that Union Street, which is beside it, is an open street that mostly cars come in and park on, and the objective there is to table that and make it a flat street and widen the sidewalk so there can be outdoor seating, cafe-style seating in the summertime.
Oh, so it won't be a through street anymore?
It'll still be a through street, but it's more of a shared street, and it's getting a lot narrower. And some of the graphics there that we have, there's a cross-section that shows how it's more pedestrian-friendly. And, you know, some seating out there with the cafe style, but also inside in the main street network that's going to be redone, and there's lighting that's going to be improved. And on the other side of Blackstone Block where the market is, there's a new hotel going in. So that area is going to be all developed, and you know, we're hoping, you know, that area gets a lot more visitors by tourists and gets the appreciation from those folks, because it's an important part of Boston and the history of this country.
It is. Now, are you going to keep the farmers market though?
The farmers market's going to stay.
Okay,
That's not
right,
going
yeah.
anywhere.
I would say there would be such an outrage.
No, and also, I mean, they've got that Boston Public Market too, the indoor one. That
That's
place
correct.
is great, that new market in there.
I haven't been in there.
Oh, you gotta go there.
All right,
They got
okay, I'll
everything.
try it. I'll try it. So that is that's going to come after the Causeway Street. Like, what is the
The plan is
sequence?
well, all the projects at some point or another are going to be going at the same time, but in Blackstone Block plan,
ambitious?
yes, the Blackstone Block is going to be starting this summer. Exactly what time you know, it depends on the contractor when he gets mobilized and his materials. This will probably be the busiest time coming up for the contractor when he's going, you know, at full strength. The bike trail, which is the largest component of the project, that's going to be going for the full duration, and you know, there's a lot of traffic that we have to deal with.
Yes.
There's a lot of underground utilities that we have to relocate or just make sure we don't hit when we do some of the substructure and the drainage work. And also as part of the project, and like a lot of projects in the city, you know, we have to consider stormwater and treating the stormwater so it doesn't go into the harbor. So there's also environmental concerns. In Lowell Square, you know, we have rain gardens and whatnot to collect some of that water, and we also have dry wells under the street to collect rainwater to prevent it to going into Boston Harbor.
So you're working closely with Boston Water and Sewer too?
Sure,
over there?
absolutely.
Oh, God,
Does
yeah.
it run into the MBTA or the Central Artery at all? Is it all kind of independent?
No, actually, you know, we separate that, and
Good.
we try and keep that away.
I'm a geotech, so it's fun in this city when you're working with utilities because you come across all kinds of interesting things. Things
Yes.
that shouldn't even be
That
there.
you didn't even know were going to be there, yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to go to the next one, to the, what's
Yep,
going
I
on
was
in
pretty
the
much going to do the same
Constitution,
thing.
right?
Yeah, I want to go to Constitution Road. What's happening
Oh,
there?
Constitution Road is over in Charlestown where the Constitution is parked. And what we're doing at that project is the road itself is an extension of the main bike trail, the Connect Historic Boston Bike Trail that's, you know, centered in Boston. And either traveling over the locks, you can get over to Constitution Road now, and then the street itself is going to have a grade separated bike trail similar to what's you know, on Causeway Street, and that will eventually connect up into Charlestown. And when the new North Washington Street Bridge is built, North Washington Street will have independent, you know, bike lanes there, and that will also link up. So there's a number of ways that you're going to be able to get over there, but this is one small section along Constitution Road that needs to be addressed, and that's going to be part of it. So that street will be improved, and we'll do some improvements into the entrance to the Navy Yard and the National Park Service, which has their offices over there. And so we're looking forward to that. That's a nice project there that's part of it.
And you brought us a little sneak preview. It's still in the proposal phase, but maybe we'll look at some pictures of the proposal, the hopes for the northern.
It's getting
Avenue
close,
Bridge?
it sounds, right?
North
The North
Washington
Washington
North
Street Bridge?
Washington Street Bridge,
Yes.
yeah.
North Washington Street Bridge, sure, is another project that we're working on, and this is a little different from Connect Historic Boston, which is mostly roadway work. In addition to the 640 miles of roadway that the city has, we also have approximately 44 bridges that the city owns, and we're responsible to maintain those and replace them. And some of those bridges are a little bit big, so we try and get some help and assistance from the state. And North Washington Street Bridge, which is spans the Charles River right behind TD Garden, and where the locks are for the Charles River is bridge that is ready to be replaced. And the oldest structure, as you can see here, is an old truss bridge that at one time used to carry the Orange Line over it. And
I didn't know that.
yes,
On the second level.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it is now fixed, but it's a swing bridge that rotated open. And when the Orange Line was demolished back in the, I think, late 70s or so, and the extension was completed going to Malden, it was demolished, the Orange Line. So it's just been, North Washington Street has been open to roadway traffic, but the bridge is substandard and it's functionally obsolete, so it's time to replace it.
Yeah, I can see the middle portion of the bridge is even closed.
Right.
You're just running traffic
Sure.
on the sides.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I never take that bridge.
So the new bridge, and if you could just kind of scroll through that we're proposing, we've gone through a number of designs, some arches and some other types of configurations, but in that area, the Egan Bridge is right next to it, so we had to kind of keep in mind that whatever was designed, if it was the height or what have you, we didn't want to take away from the view of the Egan. We wanted this to be more complementary, and we came up with a design that has the roadway, which is standard features, but the sidewalks, we're going to have very generous sidewalks on the bridge, and when you get to the center of the bridge, we're going to widen those out so it's more like a stopping place, because the Freedom Trail crosses the bridge.
Right.
People can stand there and
Right,
they can
that'd
look
be
up.
nice.
And there's
That's
some
a
benches.
kind of place on the Freedom Trail that's like people just sort of rush past that bridge. It's not beautiful or anything on its own.
Yes.
Like,
And also, we're working with the state and, city, some local individuals, private organizations, because we'd like to have some plants, trees, and flowers on the bridge, which is a little unusual. You don't see that on bridges every day.
But you
So-
should.
Yes, and so it's more
Maybe.
like a gateway into Boston.
as a bridge inspector, I could argue that.
So, it's a gateway into Boston. It's something different, but they've done. There's the Bridge of Flowers, which I'm sure you're aware
Right.
of.
Yeah, which doing beautifully. That's
Yes.
yeah.
Which is out in the western part of the state, it's an old railroad arch bridge, which is just flowers, but there's a pathway on it and whatnot, and it looks very nice. This is a little bit different, but it breaks it up. It makes it more of a, like you're walking on a main street or something versus just a regular bridge. So, but you have the harbor in the summertime to look out and all this activity. And there's also the architectural feature, which almost looks like fish gills or whatnot at the center of the bridge, which,
I think it looks neat. The proposed design
Yes.
looks great.
Right, and as you can see,
It really does.
the Freedom Trail down the middle of the bridge there, but you have the nice generous width of the sidewalk.
That is very wide.
Yes, but the existing bridge is very wide as well, and the amount of travel lanes required to bring traffic to and from Boston, it's 4 lanes in the middle of the bridge, 2 in each direction, and it widens out towards the end for turning lanes and things like that. But yeah, it's a very wide bridge.
I like it.
So I like what's happening down there because you've got when you come underneath the Egan Bridge, you have that new the North Bank Bridge.
Correct.
I've heard that there's in the planning. I have no idea when, but the South Bank Bridge could come someday.
Well, DCR is in the process of preparing a design for the South Bank Bridge, and they have some options and some ideas that they've come up with. I don't think the funding is set for actual construction, but it's something that they're working on, and I know the state and DCR specifically are trying to work to make that happen. And there's a lot of proponents, who, the Charles River folks and whatnot, who are trying to make that happen. And it's just a great link because now you can get from North Station via that bridge, whether it's on foot or bike, over to Charles River, and it's a direct link from the Boston side, and it can match the Cambridge side.
Right, with that beautiful park they put on the other side, on the
Oh,
Cambridge
yes,
side
yeah.
too. It's
That
really
is pretty.
great.
And it's getting used more and more.
Yes, oh yeah.
Oh,
Because
they
the last time
they
I was
open
there,
at
there's
least
a skate park and everything over there, isn't there?
Right, brand new skate park is all built, and
Yes.
that whole area over there, those buildings are all Education First, and other companies have really filled in the space. It's turning into a very busy area.
I don't go over that way very often, but I remember that is pretty new. That's a couple of
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah, I love seeing what's happening in the city. It's like the most exciting time in history. It's got to be.
And I feel like all these pieces, I'm really amazed you think 4 years. It's gonna
Yes, well, it's very aggressive and, working hard. And it's a big project for the city. Normally, a job like this, we might either have assistance from the state as far as providing resident engineering services and the like. But we're taking this all on ourselves, and we're working directly with the federal government on this. The Federal Highway Administration is overseeing the grant. So that's something very exciting to us as well. It's kind of it kind of puts us in the big time as far as doing a big project with the small public works.
Well, we love it, and we hope the public loves it too. I know we're coming to the end of the show.
I was actually going to ask you, is there a website that people, like residents,
Yes,
can visit?
there's a couple of websites. There's the connecthistoricboston.org, which is connecthistoric-boston.org. And unfortunately, I didn't bring it with me.
If they go to the Boston City website?
If you go to the City of Boston
The
Public
link.
Works Department and you click under engineering and whatnot, there's a couple of links to other websites. And there's a whole variety of projects that we've done in the last year.
Now, are there also meetings that the public can get involved with as the projects, or is that
Sure.
pretty much all done already? So all that's listed on there? As things move on.
Well, for these projects, for the North Washington Street Bridge, it's still in design, and there'll be a design public hearing. There was a preliminary public hearing in December, but there will be another public hearing on the bridge coming up later on this year, which will be posted on the website, and it's also posted in the Globe and the Herald.
Okay.
For Connect Historic Boston, we do have regular outreach meetings, and that's listed on the city's website under Public Works. And during design, we had close to 40 public meetings over a 4-month span.
That's great. We always encourage the residents to go to meetings so they can learn what civil engineers are hoping to do for them.
Sure.
And get involved, raise their voice. And we want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Bill.
It was my pleasure.
We think you did great, so you should come on regularly. Maybe as the projects progress, we can get some footage, and you can tell us about the quirky things that happen, because anyone in construction knows something quirky always happens. Some
always
new
does.
challenge always pops up.
Yes.
So
And-
those are fun.
And I just want to add one quick plug that, so we did the Model Bridge Contest and we did Future City. I want to congratulate the winners. We're going to Washington, D.C. with the team from Farmington Valley next week. And, but I want to just say www.engineeryourfuture.org is the website, and you can do the online bridge contest still, which is going to go
yes.
till April. And thank you, everybody, and see you next month.
Thank you. Thank you again.